Welcome back to another episode of Henry TV. I am your host, 22 Plinkster, and beside me is my friend John. John is the owner of Clarksville Guns Archery here in Clarksville, Tennessee. John, tell us a little bit about your store.
Well, as you mentioned, we're located here in Clarksville, Tennessee. We've been in business we're in our 5th year of business. Things are going great. Have a great selection of firearms and just love it all the way around.
Awesome. Now, I have been a customer of yours for quite a long time. I've purchased several firearms here. And but why I am here today is these guys behind me, the Henry rifles. You are a Henry dealer, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Love the Henrys.
Love the Henrys. All right. And you sell a lot of Henry rifles?
We do.
All right. Well, good stuff. All right. So we're going to get into now different rifles, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. And so you good with that?
I am.
All right. Let's
talk about Henry.
All right, John, you are a dealer, okay? And you've been in business long enough and you've dealt with enough people that you see all kinds of people coming into your shop, okay? We failed to mention this, but since you're in Clarksville, you're very close to Fort Campbell military base. So you have a lot of military comes in here. And so usually military are familiar with weapons and firearms and things of that nature. But you do get a lot of people that come in here that don't know much about guns. And, coming into a gun shop, you're looking around, you see all the firearms, it can be intimidating. And a lot of people are scared to ask you questions. So what kind of advice could you give people just speaking with the dealer? Not necessarily, guns in general, but with Henrys and other firearms. What kind of advice can you give?
That's pretty easy advice. It doesn't have to be a nerve-wracking experience. Everyone started with their first firearm somewhere. Dealers are here to help. We're not trying to intimidate the customers. We will ask you the right questions and help you find the firearm that's right for you. When it comes to the Henrys, we'll look for what are you going to use the firearm for? What fit are you looking for? Is it for you? Is it a gift? Is it a collectible? What's your experience with firearms? Those types of questions. We'll take care of you and make you feel comfortable.
And that's pretty much, for 99% of all dealers.
Yeah,
they're here.
Yes.
They're here to help you, not to be intimidated or intimidating you or anything like that. They're here to help you.
Absolutely.
All right, John. When someone walks into your store and they are want to purchase their first Henry rifle, okay, fit is everything. How a rifle fits you, it's just like any firearm. And
Right.
if you've never picked up a lever gun, immediately the first thing you think to yourself, boy, this rifle is heavy. But how should a rifle actually fit a shooter?
It should fit you comfortably.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's built different, so you need to find the one that fits your build and balances well to you, that you get a good sight picture on.
Yeah, and every person is different. You mentioned, I'm 6'6", okay,
Right.
and I would not be going out and shooting a youth model and be as accurate with it as I possibly could be, compared to another rifle, full-size rifle that actually fits me.
Correct.
Cheek weld, chin weld, with the big boy rifles, such as your 357 and your 44 and your 45 Colt, it uses a cheek weld. That's where your cheek is against, the stock. And your Golden Boy here, you can see that the stock is cut down a little bit more here, and it's made for a chin weld.
That's
So,
true.
it's very important to get a rifle that fits you perfectly. So, do you see a lot of people coming here and asking that question? If I do get one, how am I supposed to hold it? How am I supposed to position it?
We do see that question, but really it's putting the rifle in their hands and seeing how they look down the sights and feeling the rifle. A person can tell when they get the right one.
Yep.
They know they've got the right one.
Yep.
So,
And it's just like anything, usually a firearm is going to feel awkward at first, but
Right.
once you get into shooting it, you start getting into that groove and you know where exactly the anchoring point you're supposed to use and everything. So, yeah. So, all right, we're going to ask you another question. All right.
Okay.
All right. Now that we've mentioned, the proper fit of a Henry rifle, you get this question a lot. And I know I get this question a lot. And you being, surrounded by people coming in your shop all day, what Henry should I get? And also, more important, if your parents coming in here and they're buying their child, their first .22 rifle, or they want to buy one for their wife, what models would you recommend for a young shooter?
Well, Henry is a great choice for young shooters, as you know. I mean, a lot of kids start with a BB gun,
Mhm.
and
I
so
did.
they transition right into a Henry lever action rifle. It's just an easy transition for them. So usually for a younger child, I'll recommend the Henry 22, the youth model.
Mhm.
It's a natural fit for them. They can grow from there, and they'll cherish that rifle forever.
Yes, they will.
It's-
And you know the funny thing is, you know, if you're coming in here and buying any gun shop that you go to, and you go in mind that you want one for your 9-year-old daughter, I would not recommend getting them the 4570.
Right.
You know, that's
Yeah.
that's the least thing you want to do. You know,
And we're not going to steer you that way.
no, and they wouldn't steer you that way because you want your child or young shooter, whether it be a child or it be a female or even a new shooter. You know, in general, you want to keep the recoil down. You want to keep the noise level down. Even though you're wearing hearing protection, it's just that the concussion from that shot and everything. But you want that rifle to fit, you know, the individual that's shooting it. But you know, Henry does make several youth models. You know, they have the youth model in the Golden Boy, the youth model in the Frontier, and also their little bolt action rifle, which is a
As you can see, I can't keep them in stock.
yeah. So you know, I get here and I was like, "Where's your youth models?" He said, "Man, I'm selling them all so quick." So you know, that's actually a good problem to have. I've shot all the youth models, and you know, I have kids of my own, and they've shot them, and they fit them perfect. They're priced right. You know, they're not way overpriced. And like you said, you know, previously, it's a rifle that they can cherish forever and pass it down from generation to generation. So
That is true.
last but not least, there is no way that you can keep every Henry model in stock. You know, it's just you just can't do it. Either one, that you can't keep them on the shelf, but you know, Henry makes a ton of different models and ton of different calibers. So, what kind of advice would you give, you know, for someone that is looking for a particular Henry rifle?
My advice is if we don't have it, ask us. We can call Henry and get it. Henry's very good about, and this goes for any dealer. Talk to your dealer. They can call Henry, and Henry will make sure that you get that rifle.
So, do you get a lot of custom orders?
We do on the Henrys, yes.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Well, guys, thank you for watching another episode of Henry TV. And remember, if it's not made in America, it's not made at all. And John, thank you very much for letting me come to your shop and asking you a few questions.
Thank you.
All right, bud.